What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon GO Battle League content. Today's video, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be showcasing one of the strongest Pokemon that I think is available in the Color Cup, and that is going to be none other than the Shadow Kingdra. Shadow Kingdra has absolutely nothing in this meta that is common that resists Dragon Breath, other than maybe Ferrothorn. If you see an Azumarill once in a while, it's probably because more people start running Kingdra, because this thing is absolutely destructively broken, okay? Now, in this particular team, we go ahead and we put it up with a Shadow Quagsire and a Shadow Abomasnow. Now, I know that Shadow Kingdra is not super widely available. You can use a regular, but keep in mind that the Shadow pressure from those Dragon Breaths, it adds up very quickly, and I would highly recommend the Shadow if you have it. Abomasnow here does not need to be a Shadow, but again, it's better if you have it just because it just works better as a Shadow in my opinion. And Quagsire, also the same exact thing as Abomasnow. You don't need to have it as a Shadow, but just having that extra oomph behind your damage output helps a lot. Doesn't need to be super bulky in this team, but it works out. And we're going to get into these games here as we get into this first battle here. Now, I'm going to say it right out front, okay? I went on a 6-0 streak after this first game. First game, I got completely destroyed, okay? They have a Jumpluff. Jumpluff completely destroys my Kingdra. My only hope here is that they let me land this Outrage, which they almost never will. Because the Fairy Winds will do super effective fast move damage into the Kingdra, so I guess this is probably one of the hardest answers in this meta currently to Shadow Kingdra. And I think that I might be able to possibly go through this matchup with Dragon Breath, but I'm like, nah, it's not worth it. I'm just going to take the farm on Abomasnow, hope to apply it to the Marowak in the lead, and just try and see if I can make something. But as soon as I see the Tropius, honestly, I'm like, okay, there's no way I'm winning this game. I'm going to go for the Stone Edge, see how much damage it does, because I don't see this play this match about too often. But anyways, I was trying to say, after this game, we go on a 6-0 win streak, and then I have a terrible 1-4 set that I've added to the end of this video. So I want to use that more as a constructive sort of thing to add to the end of the video. So keep in mind. Keep that in mind as we get there. Anyway, Marowak again on the lead in this next game. Shadow Kingdra immediately, but they come in with a Decidueye. Here's the thing, okay? And I'm going to actually use this as a lesson in sort of identifying a situation, okay? And I'm going to just pause it so I can explain it, right? So when you have a safe swap like Kingdra, when most of its damage output is in its fast moves, right? When your opponent goes for a charge move pretty much right when they get it, and you're expecting to try and flip switch. In this situation, I see an Alolan Marowak in the lead against my Abomasnow. I need to flip switch by any means possibly necessary. So what I like to do is I like to see how much damage my Dragon Breaths have done to the Pokemon that I'm against, and see, okay, if they're going to throw this move right away 2 more times, am I going to be able to Dragon Breath down before they get to their 3rd total move? And in this case, almost half of the Decidueye's HP bar is missing, so I should be able to Dragon Breath this down, even if they go 4 moves, the Spirit Shackle right when they get it, right? So I'm going to go for the Octazooka. Octazooka in this point, like, I really prefer to use Octazooka when I need to fish for the debuff, and thankfully we get it. It's not going to matter. I'm still shielding again anyway, so there's also something to be said about just shielding, farming all the way down, but it's nice to be able to potentially get that chip damage or the shield, because now the opponent only has 1 shield left. We have switch advantage, and Kingdra's almost at another move. So if they come in with they can't come in with the Marowak. They have to come in with their other Pokemon, which is going to be an Abomasnow. Now in this case, it's not great. However, the opponent, thinking that they're not going to have to deal with the Shadow Outrage, and they almost have their Abomasnow deleted as well. I come in with my Abomasnow to let them throw energy, but they don't do it, and they'll come in with the Quagsire. Now, one thing you'll note here, the Quagsire in this game has Mudshot, and the one on the graphic has Aqua Tail. I played about a set and a half or 2 sets or so with Mud Bomb, and I've come to the point where I would just prefer to have Aqua Tail regardless. Also good to know that Quagsire does win CMP or Charge Attack priority over Marowak. We are going to take this game because the opponent cannot farm down here, and we're going to get the win. Good game. Felt really good to get that win after getting completely hard countered in that first game. But we're getting into the next, the second set. I played 2 games to finish off my set, and then we went ahead and jumped into another set here. This is the first of the 5-0 set that I had. Weather Ball is going to get the shield here, and I'm going to go straight into my Quagsire here, hoping that maybe they go for a Stone Edge, which, of course, they don't, but they have Aqua Tail, and again, you know, I just basically want to try to fish out something with this Quagsire. Quagsire and Kingdra are both incredibly strong safe swaps in this format that both account for Abomasnow's inherent weakness to fire. And that's mostly what you're going to see. Abomasnow doesn't really have much of an issue with anything else other than the fire types, which I have seen quite a few Alolan Marowaks running around, especially in the lead. So if you wanted to, you could probably... honest to goodness, you could probably throw Quagsire in the lead, put Abomasnow in the back, and still safe swap the Kingdra, because Kingdra is just that incredibly neutral into this format that it's just a good safe swap no matter what your team looks like, honestly. You could also, if you want to, try and do like a 2-shield Kingdra lead with a really strong backline sort of situation if you want to. I tried it, didn't go as well for me, but I think it was more so the backline that I picked was bad rather than the fact that, you know, it wasn't Shadow Kingdra's fault by any means. So we're going to be going for as many weather balls as we can possibly get to here. And at this point, I'm pretty happy to just go ahead and let this go. I don't know if I live this or not. I think I might because it's a non-Shadow Abomasnow. We live it with like 2 HP, and the opponent not willing to throw their move if they have it. They're trying to farm down, but they're going to hit the Weather Ball. I'm going to be able to swap in my Kingdra here, and with a shield, I should be looking pretty good, and the opponent concedes not wanting to play it out. Good game. The opponent's win condition there was definitely me forgetting to change the queue time. Did I not cut out the queue time? Anyway, oh no, this was the end of that first set. So we went 2-1 in the first set, and now we're gonna be on a 5-0 win streak. This is the start of the second set. My bad. So we're gonna have an Abomasnow mirror match in the lead here. I don't really want to swap out of this because the opponent has energy. They can hit Kingdra pretty quickly. Abomasnow is like low-key one of the better answers to Kingdra, but the thing with the Shadow Kingdra on the Shadow Abomasnow is that I believe it just has enough to Dragon Breath through. Now, the mistake that I make here, and it's really not one that you can know that you're going to make, is opponent knows they can live a Weather Ball, and they also have worse IVs than I do on their Abomasnow most likely, so they can also win charge attack priority. I have a pretty good ranked Abomasnow. I immediately switch to my Kingdra here, and the opponent comes in with a Lantern, and oh my goodness, my blood is boiling. If y'all know me at all, you know how much I absolutely despise this stupid fish. And the Outrage is thrown, but they decide they don't want to shield it, and now I'm a very happy camper because the opponent basically has to out-farm. They just have to farm as much as they possibly can. Very good counting by them, by the way, getting there right before and throwing the Stone Edge. Not baiting is huge there, but what I can do here is I can come in with my Quagsire, get them as low as possible, and then save the shield for Abomasnow to farm down. So good game. They did know that they were going to lose. Next game, Toxapex. Oof. So there's 2 ways to deal with Toxapex. The first one is going to be to get switched and put Quagsire on it. When you have Mud Bomb on the Quagsire, this is much easier. Now, the opponent gives me a gigantic energy lead here, and that is not something you ever want to do if you're facing a Shadow Kingdra. You never want to let them just farm up a lot of energy before you go into, you know, whatever swap you're going to go into. You need to get in there before they can apply this Octazooka debuff. Now, thankfully, I get the debuff on the second one. It doesn't really make a difference here, I don't think. However, it will allow me to get to almost an Octazooka. Unfortunately, I do not make it. It's very close. Had I got the debuff on the first one, I think I might have been okay. But we are going to go down to that Astonish. The opponent goes for a Sludge Bomb, goes down. We have 2-0 shield advantage, and at this point, like, there's really not much that Quagsire can't deal with. And the opponent has their own Quag in the back. This is going to be mostly the same if you have Aqua Tail or Mud Bomb. Again, I preferred Aqua Tail after all the battles that I played here, but Mud Bomb does have a little bit more power behind it, and the opponent can't get enough energy to deal with this in 2 shields, so they know they're going to go ahead and get taken out. I think it was more so that they saw that I had Mud Bomb and then they conceded, so good game to the opponent here. But even with 2 shields, we still would have been able to go through the Toxapex with Stone Edge. The opponent has a Credilli lead, swaps out because it's a good lead for Abomasnow, and they're going to safe switch into Morpeko. Morpeko is going to be swiftly met by a Weather Ball that they're going to shield, and as typically they will, because Morpekos have to shield literally everything. I'm going to come in now with my Quagsire. I think about shielding for a moment, because Morpeko does have access to Seed Bomb, and I have had nightmares about being one-shot by Seed Bomb. Honestly, spoiler alert for another video in the future, perhaps, I think I want to try to Seed Bomb some Quags with my Morpeko, so I might give that a shot, but we'll see how that goes. Opponent's going to go for the Psychic Fangs. We actually call it, I have learned one thing from playing Psychic Fangs Morpeko. Don't go for the Psychic Fangs at all. At all. Just don't, because it's always a losing thing to do. Anyway, we no shield, we win, good game. Next game, amazing lead for us here. This is probably why we had such a good set, because we kept seeing a lot of really nice leads. Opponent's going to go into a Raichu. I know this thing gets Wild Charge, Thunder Punch, Brick Break, but I don't know that this version has Trailblaze. Now, you might be hearing me say that and being like, oh man, I thought about shielding. I didn't shield. I was like, okay, hopefully Trailblaze doesn't knock me out, but they go for freaking Skull Bash, dude. Massive, massive flex on the opponent's part with a Witch Hat Raichu and going for that Skull Bash. Thankfully, we still resist the Thunder Shocks, so I will be able to nearly Mudshot down. But once they go for the Brick Break, I don't want to risk it. I feel like if I go for 2 more with that debuff, I might actually get farmed down. So I'm like, you know what? I got shield advantage. I'm just going to throw the Mud Bomb. It's not like my energy is going to go that far into the opponent's Gastrodon anyway. Opponent's going to stay in to throw a Body Slam to chip me and then go out instead of leaving right away, which is an interesting idea here. They try to catch on their Ferrothorn, but I've got a million energy at this point. I'm going to throw 2 Weather Balls here. Because they're just now on their 3rd Bullet Seed. I can go for 1 more, and then I could even go for a 3rd one if I wanted to. But at this point, I figured I would try and let Kingdra get in here and have some of the fun, because it's been sitting in the back, itching to get out of its Pokeball. So I'm going to go ahead and toss Kingdra out to the field here. Go ahead and soak the energy. Not going to shield it. I'm going to just save the shield to deal with the opponent's Gastrodon in whichever way I need to. But we're going to be able to get to this Outrage, because at no point was anybody possibly worried that this wasn't going to happen. And we get to boom the Slug to boot. Good game here. Well played. All right, rolling into this next game, we got Abomasnow on the lead versus a non-Shadow Whiscash. This is an amazing lead for us because unless the opponent has Blizzard, they're not doing much, and they're staying in, which immediately tells me that they are weak in the back to the Abomasnow in some way, shape, or form. And they just go for Mud Bomb, too. Like, I would expect them to go for Scald. Opponent tries to catch on a Talonflame, and I bring in my Quagsire. By the way, hey, stupid Felrose, you don't have Aqua Tail on your Quagsire, and I really regret that decision in this moment. So I'm going to go for a Mud Bomb bait, hoping that they may try to shield back, as Switch seems to be like something that they would probably want, considering they had a Whiscash on the Abomasnow. Now I'm going to take a minute to kind of explain my rationale, because baiting is something that comes up a lot as a question. As someone who does coaching, and just going to shill it for 2 seconds here. I'm over on Metafy. You can find me as a coach over there if you're looking to get PvP coaching, you know, one-on-one. You can go ahead and just check me out on Metafy. Link in the description and pinned comment. But that aside, one of the things that comes up is opponent has a hard loss in the lead. I would have expected them to try to make a play for Switch here with this Talonflame, so I was thinking, okay, I'll just go ahead and toss the Mud Bomb. They should be respecting the Aqua Tail, and I'm hoping they're respecting a Stone Edge, which they weren't. And I should have just thrown the Stone Edge, and that's going to be a recurring theme here of me, stupid, don't bait. At this point, I'm kind of forced to go for Mud Bomb. The opponent doesn't need to shield. Again, if I had Aqua Tail, wouldn't be an issue at this point. I really could have just gone for the Aqua Tail and been done with it, which is, again, why I think that you should be running Aqua Tail if you're going to try this team. Because Quagsire with Aqua Tail, I just feel like generally is better. There is not as many Toxapex as I expected here. And I'm kind of thinking, all right, well, basically, the opponent was super weak to Abomasnow to the point where they stayed in with Whiscash. I'm thinking that this is their only answer, so I'm going to bring in my Kingdra to kind of just sacrifice it and hope Abomasnow can sweep with a shield, but the opponent blind throws the Flame Charge, thinking I'm coming back in with Abomasnow. Huge mistake. A Fly still would have sent me on my way, and the opponent has an Abomasnow in the back, so it wasn't that they were super weak to Abomasnow, it's that they could not swap in their own Abomasnow, because basically they would have just ended up taking damage, and then I would have been able to switch into whatever I wanted. So that would have been a very bad situation for them. We get the debuff, which basically puts us in the position to win this game. I am essentially going to just come in with my Abomasnow that is loaded on energy. I should have overfarmed, I think, a little bit more in hindsight, but in this case, it's fine. We just basically need to get to 2 Weather Balls. The opponent would get to another Weather Ball before I would, I think. Because they did have some energy, but I don't know if this would knock out from the range that I'm at. I think it might just barely. live it or just barely knock out. I'm not sure. I guess let me know in the comments if you like. But we're able to get to 2 weather balls before the opponent feels comfortable throwing their 2 weather balls, and we take the game. Well played. Oh, and this is the 5-0 set that we claim, so huge dubs. Then we get into the next set, and this is the 1-4 set, and I want to talk through this one because this is one where I can be kind of more self-analytical, right? So the opponent comes in with a Credilli, and they have an Alolan Marowak in the lead. So my thought here is go for switch advantage. I'm also looking at their HP bar, realizing that they just throw a Rock Slide. I think I can Shadow Dragon Breath through this Credilli. I'm going to go for a cheeky Octazooka here, but you usually want to make sure you at least build up to the Outrage before you throw. Now, with the debuff and the fact that we landed the Octazooka, like the Octazooka serves 2 purposes, right? It serves to do a little bit of chip damage if you need to get those Dragon Breaths in, and it also serves as a 50-50 chance to get a severe debuff of the opponent's attack. So even if they had decided to just go ahead and let that, you know, shield that up, like we still would have been able to keep pace here. Opponent is going to shield up my Outrage. Now they're going to be able to farm me down, and I'm having a bad time. I think Quagsire is just going to sweep me in this game. I'm going to go into the Abomasnow. Opponent does have a Shadow Quagsire. The Stone Edge would one-shot me. I'm praying at this point, basically, that they bait, and they don't. Stone Edge is going to take out my poor little Abomasnow. And I'm just going to come in with Quagsire, and I'm going to hope that maybe I can get to 2 moves here to get rid of them. They have Aqua Tail, I have Mud Bomb, and this is basically the last straw for me. At this point, I'm like, you know what? I need Aqua Tail, because the opponent literally, I think I could have possibly won this game if I had had Aqua Tail. I also go for the Stone Edge, thinking that they're going to save that shield for their Quagsire. They don't. They're going to be able to get to a move here, take me out. They outplayed me from back to front, and they also had the hard counter of Marowak to my lead, which didn't help, but I digress. Good game to this opponent. Well played. Next game, we get more Pekko. Pretty solid lead for Abomasnow because you really don't have to shield the first move. And we can CMP tie here. I will get a free shield, and I will take either resisted damage from their Aura Wheel, or they just go for Psychic Fangs, which, I mean, sure, go for it. Now, something to keep in mind for more Pekko, whenever the form change happens, that also takes the place of the preparation of you being able to do your charge moves. So just be ready to swipe as soon as you see that come up. Now, opponent tries to bank some energy on the more Pekko, but comes in with a Dugong, and it's a little bit too late. I have a shield advantage. I'm able to just full send this Outrage, and the opponent does not respect it, and they don't get to a move. That's just it. Shadow Kingdra just completely deleted the opponent, and there's nothing they were going to do at that point. Good game. Qwilfish on the lead, definitely not an Abomasnow friendly lead, so we're going to go straight to Kingdra. It is pretty squishy. Now in comes a Golisopod, and we have an advantage here. Again, I'm using that trick, right? They just got to the X-Scissor, and they threw it as soon as they got to it. They will only be able to get to 1 more X-Scissor. My Dragon Breaths will now be able to KO them before they're able to get to a second X-Scissor after this. So I know that I can fully Dragon Breath this thing down for switch advantage, and I'm safe to shield here, and I'm going to do just that. I'll also have some energy residual afterwards. Even though the opponent will have shield advantage, they have a decision to make. Are they going to shield the Outrage that comes after? Opponent comes in with a Feraligatr. Haven't seen a whole lot of these. I'm going to go for the Octazooka, thinking that they're going to shield it. And at that point, I'll probably just go ahead and pivot at this point, or just let them farm me down. The opponent does shield that up, and now we have a pretty clear win here. The opponent comes back in with the Qwilfish. We just need to load up the 2 Aqua Tails, or a Stone Edge plus an Aqua Tail. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I played these sets at the end of the night. This is my last set of the day, and I have had very little sleep the night before. So I'm tunnel visioning really hard, which is going to explain this next play. I basically just need to get to 2 Aqua Tails at this point, and I can win this game. However, I, for some reason, think that I need a Stone Edge to knock out this. I was, like, so hyper-focused on my energy bar that I wasn't looking at their HP bar, so I throw the Stone Edge like an idiot, okay? And then I have to go for an Aqua Tail. I get farmed down. Opponent has, like, at least, I think, 12... It's 11 or 12 Shadow Claws, so they can go for an Ice Beam if they have it, or a Crunch, and then a Hydro to knock me out. I'm not getting to my move. I lose this game completely to myself. Opponent took full advantage of it. They played it well, but I could have absolutely won this game, and I just blame myself. So that's it. It's a good game. felt the need to explain myself. Now, this next game, we get another Toxapex lead. We're going to go straight into the Kingdra. An opponent now has the Dugong. Now, this, unfortunately, in this case, the opponent comes in with their Dugong quicker than I can get to the Outrage, you know, with the Dragon Breath lead that I was going to get. So, I have to shield, and I'm going to kind of hope that now the opponent also realizes that we're trying to make a play for Switch. I'm going to go for the Octazooka here, hoping that the opponent will shield it. And thankfully, I had that intuition, right? Because they want to make sure that they can keep that Toxapex locked on my Abomasnow because it's such a good matchup. And they probably expect me, to have Quagsire or something in the back that beats it. So I'm actually going to go for another Octazooka here. It was probably a mistake, but I figured they were low enough that it might actually do enough. But they're going to go ahead and shield it, and immediately they're going to throw a move. Now, this is a very good farm down for double resisted Abomasnow Powder Snows. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and just farm all the way down. Opponent's not getting to a move, thankfully. And I'm hoping that Quagsire with shields down can do well here. I'm going to go ahead and go for an Energy Ball first to chip the Toxapex, and hopefully in the next matchup I can do that just again. It does almost half. I just need to get a little bit more damage with the opponent's a Gastrodon. So the good news here is that I can go ahead and go for that farm down with the Abomasnow, but the bad news is that the opponent's very close to an Earth Power. I'm only going to get to one move here. They're at the Earth Power. They're going to knock me out with it. And now I'm thinking, okay, I'll go ahead and I'll just go for a farm down. But now what I've done, and this is the interesting thing here, right? They don't go for the Earth Power, the Water Pulse. It barely knocks me out. I purposefully don't throw because I want to get the farm on my Abomasnow. I need basically an Energy Ball plus a Weather Ball, and I cannot really, I mean, they're gonna get a couple Poison Jabs in anyway. So, but I basically need that energy. I'm very, very close. We can get there, but we are not quite there. Energy Ball, we would have needed maybe 2 more Poison Jabs, or 2 more Powder Snows to get there. But unfortunately, not going to be able to make it. Opponent is going to be able to get their Brine off, even though we have 1 HP. They just wanted to play it safe. Good game to them. Very close game. Almost made it. And we're getting into the next game here. Marowak on the lead, and I'm just like, man, here we go again. Straight to Kingdra. Opponent stays in, throws 2 Fire Spins, and once again, we hit a Grass type to counter our Kingdra. But look at the HP bar. Opponent throws the Frenzy Plant or Aerial Ace right when they get to it. They do throw the Frenzy Plant, which is nice for me here. Now we're going to go for that Octazooka for the chip damage. If the opponent decides to no-shield this and they want to go for Aerial Aces afterwards, then they're going to have a bad time. They're going to go ahead and shield that up. They're going to get the attack drop, and I still have to shield this no matter what because I need switch here. Opponent has shield advantage. We're going to get the farm down. We've got an Outrage loaded, and all I have to do is throw the Outrage into whatever comes in because they're not coming in with the Alolan Marowak. They come in with a Credilli, and I'm going to farm up some energy, and right before they get to the move, I'm going to stupidly throw the Octazooka because I'm thinking there's no way they don't shield this. And they let it go. And this is where I lose the game. Spoiler alert, I lose the game. But yes, all I had to do was throw the Outrage. And this is basically, don't bait, okay? Just don't bait unless it makes sense, right? Because now, because the opponent had thrown 2 Fire Spins, they're going to be able to get to the Shadow Bone in 3 Fire Spins, and I'm not going to be able to get to 2 Aqua Tails in time to be able to get rid of this thing. So unfortunately, I am going to have to try to hope that they're 1 away from a move, which they're not, because it's 3 to the Bone Club after you throw that first move on AWAC. They're at the move. I need to be able to get to a Weather Ball here and make it be enough to get the knockout, and then hope that I can farm down in the back. But Weather Ball, I just don't think it's going to be enough. It's going to be close. We'll see if it's enough. Not quite there. No farm down is going to do it. Opponent is going to throw the energy. That's going to seal the game in their favor. So absolutely could have been a 3-2. That could have genuinely been an 8-4 run, I think it was. No, it was 8-3. It would have been an 8-3 run if I had not made those mistakes. But I dropped back down to 2600 elo. I'm still fine. I don't feel like I'm in a bad position at this point in the season. I feel like 2600 is a perfectly fine elo to be at, as well as anybody sitting at like 2200, sub 2000, right? Don't worry about so much where your elo's at right now. Just focus on your gameplay. Focus on just doing your best to improve yourself and learn from the mistakes you've made. I learned from the mistakes that I made in that final set. I'm not going to do those again. And if I do, then that's going to be, you know, me deciding to be an idiot. But that's all right. I do that to myself once in a while, and that's okay. But we're going to go ahead and call it there. Thank you guys very much for watching the video. Once again, I just want to show the Patreon that I've got. we have a really awesome community in that server that's exclusive to the YouTube members and the Patreon subscribers. You get early access to all my teams, my YouTube videos as well, and a bunch of other perks, as well as the upper 2 tiers, including coaching with those tiers. So if you would like to check it out and support the channel, my family and I would appreciate it. We always do appreciate having anyone join our server. It's a fun place to be and a good place to improve alongside like-minded battlers like ourselves. But that's going to do it for me for today's video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.